Hi everyone, I'm Kaylee with the North Lake Town Hall Library, and starting with this video I'm going to be recording tutorials of different kinds of crafts that you can do from home, maybe with things that you already have in your house, just while we're all cooped up, just to give you something to do. And starting today I'm going to show you how to arm knit. So you can use this method to make anything from scarves to blankets. Today I'm just going to make a quick scarf just to show you how it's done. But to start you're going to need at least 2 balls of yarn. I found that the best yarn for this is the Wool Ease Thick and Quick yarn that looks like this. It's thicker and softer and it works really nice for this, but you will need 2 balls of this yarn or any other kind of yarn that you have on hand. Step 2 is to make sure that you remove any watches or jewelry that you might have on your hands or arms so that you don't get caught in the yarn while you're working with it. And then you will want to either wear a short sleeve shirt or a shirt that you can roll up because you will be using your arms. So arm knitting works just like regular knitting does, except for that you are using your arms as the needles. But I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So you're going to want to take your 2 ends of yarn and you're going to want a tail. It depends on how long you want your whatever it is you're making to be. I'm going to be making a scarf, so I'm going to do about 4 lengths of this, I think. 1, 2, 3, and 4, maybe 5, 6. Just to be sure, you want a pretty long tail. And then you're going to create a slip knot. So to do that with this method, you're going to just take your yarn, create a loop, and you'll pull your yarn through. And you want it to be big enough to go up your arm. And that counts as your first cast, is what it's called, cast on. So this yarn here is called the tail, and then the yarn that is connected to the balls is still going to be called the working yarn. So that's what I mean when I say working yarn and tail. So the next step is going to be to cast on. So I'm just making a short little scarf. I recommend if you're making a scarf that you're gonna be wanting to wear, that's nice and big and cozy, I recommend between 20 and 30 casts. I'm just going to do 10 just to demonstrate the method to you, but what you're going to want to do is, I'm going to sit this way to hopefully make it easier for you to see, but you will take this hand, the one that's free, and you're going to go like this. You've got your yarn here, let's see, and you're going to want to go in between the 2 with your fingers so that it ends up looking something like this. You're going to be holding both the working yarn and the tail in your 3 fingers here, with the working yarn going behind both your forefinger and your thumb. So, working like this kind of, what you're going to do is you'll go, make sure you keep this somewhat tight here. You're going to go under the yarn here, over the yarn in the back, and you'll grab that working yarn and pull it through to make a loop. And you'll pull that onto your arm. Okay, so the yarn that's wrapped around your thumb should be the working yarn connected to the ball, and the yarn that is connected to your around your forefinger should be the tail. So you're going to be going underneath the working yarn over the working yarn in the back, and you grab on to the tail, and you pull that loop there, and you just tighten. You want to make sure that you can still get the yarn pretty far up your arm. So let's see if there's any other better way to show you what I'm doing here. Alright, so now I've got eight stitches here, so I'm just going to create those last ones normally without trying to figure out how to use the camera. And as you can see, I've been pulling from the tail, so the tail is getting much shorter. So that's why you want to start with a really big tail, and then also you might want to end up using the tail at the end to kind of stitch things together if you're going to make like an infinity scarf. So it's always best to start with a really big tail, always use more than you think you'll need. Alright, so then the next step, once you have all the stitches on that you want to use, like I said, I recommend around 20 to 30 for a regular size scarf, not a tutorial scarf. You are done working with the tail for now. So you will not be working with the tail anymore until you maybe get to the end and want to use it. So make sure you're only working with the working yarn, which is the yarn attached to the yarn, balls of yarn. So the rest of it is actually extremely easy. So luckily for you, what you want to do is you will hold the yarn in the hand it's connected to, and all you do is you take your loops here. So since we're using 2 balls of yarn, we have 2 loops, and you pull them over your hand here, and now you've created this loop. You will put your other hand in and grab this yarn here and just pull it to make it nice and tight. And then that's all you do. So you just keep repeating that motion. You hold the yarn in this hand, you grab a loop over here, pull it over, form that new loop, and just stick your hand in and make sure you're keeping it nice and tight. But that's all you have to do. I'm going to keep doing it to kind of show you what happens when you get to the end, and that'll be it for this video. And I hope that you are able to create something pretty cool while you're stuck at home. So, yep, just keep pulling, stick your hand in. And I know I always had this question when I was first starting, but to make sure that it's even, you're going to, when you pull through, you pull straight up and you just go in through the back. It looks like the back of the loop. So that'll keep everything nice and neat for you. And I also always had this question, I think I mentioned it earlier, but when you are counting, so say you want to have 20, you want to cast on 20, the slip knot is the first of those 20. So once you get to the end, you will completely remove yourself from this arm and you're all on this arm. So then you've got this little row here that you knit, but you used your arm. So then you're just gonna move everything back to the other arm and you're just gonna keep going until you're done. So I'll do a few more rows just to show you how you'll end it once you're done. And then you can go forth and make your own scarves or blankets or curtains, whatever you want to make with this method. So once you get to a point where you want to end, this would theoretically be much longer, you will do the opposite of what you did when you started, which is casting off. So to cast off, you're going to start by knitting 2 onto your other arm. So just do 2 of what you've been doing so that you have 2 loops on this arm. So you will kind of want to hold on to this yarn just to make sure this one doesn't get too loose. But you'll take this first stitch here, you'll pull it over, let go, and just drop it and tighten. So then you will knit 1 more stitch, so you'll hold that, make a new loop, tighten, and I just kind of like to make sure I'm not losing where this is, but you can just drop it entirely. Take your loop here, pull it over, and drop it, and make sure it's tight. Knit another loop. There you go. Tighten, pull it over. Ooh, see, that's why I like to make sure I'm holding on. But pull it nice and tight and just keep going until you run out of stitches. And then once you get to the end, you'll make your stitch there, pull this over and tighten. And then what you would do is you will cut this right here and you will just pull that yarn through, tie a knot, and you'll tie it up. And there you go. You would have a scarf if it were significantly longer than this. This is what it looks like with 2 balls of yarn. I do recommend using around 3. And you can kind of, experiment with the different, sizes of yarn and types of yarn. You can use that really big yarn that you find some places in some craft stores. But yes, this is what it looks like at the end.